Jake Dawson had never expected his quiet garage to be the place where a life would change forever. Tucked at the edge of a small American town, the old mechanic worked alone, haunted by the memories of his own son, who passed away years ago. Jake had been a brilliant aerospace technician in another life, but since the tragedy, he had chosen solitude over science, spending his days fixing trucks and tuning engines. It was a routine that gave him peace, until the day a luxury black SUV pulled into his gravel driveway, its sleek presence jarringly out of place among the rusted tractors and oil drums. From the back seat, a young girl emerged, no older than 8. She sat in a high-end wheelchair, her legs unmoving but her eyes curious and bright. The woman who accompanied her stepped out in designer heels and a tailored coat, the kind of attire rarely seen in Jake's part of town. "Mr. Dawson?" she asked, offering a polite smile. "I'm Vanessa Hart. I was told you can fix things no one else will touch." Jake nodded, his expression unreadable as he motioned for them to come inside. He didn't ask many questions. When Vanessa explained the wheelchair's issues, its malfunctioning joints, the unstable balance system, he listened silently, his eyes drifting now and then to the girl who watched him closely. Her name was Emma. She had been in a car accident 2 years ago and had lost all movement in her legs. Jake asked her a single question. "What do you want it to do?" Emma replied softly, "I want it to help me try." That answer changed everything. Jake agreed to look at the chair, but his mind was already thinking beyond repairs. In his workshop, surrounded by the familiar scent of grease and metal, he dismantled the machine, examined its structure, and found its flaws. But more than anything, he began to see potential not just for fixing the wheelchair, but for giving Emma something more. Jake stayed up late into the nights, ordering parts and sketching out designs that hadn't crossed his mind in years. He used his knowledge from the aerospace world to re-engineer the motor systems, then added a gyroscope for better balance and torque sensors for smoother control. He began building something new, a lightweight exosuit that could attach to Emma's legs and respond to her movements. Emma visited every few days, watching him work, sometimes helping where she could. She asked questions, made him laugh, and brought a quiet light into his dark space. Vanessa was stunned by the transformation not just in the machine, but in her daughter. For the first time in years, Emma had hope. And for the first time in years, Jake did too. The morning of the test, the garage was quieter than usual. Jake stood beside his workbench, double-checking the straps on the final version of the exosuit. It was sleek but sturdy, lightweight yet strong enough to support Emma's frame. He had spent weeks perfecting every detail, and now the moment had come. Vanessa stood near the door, her hands clasped tightly, watching with a mixture of nerves and disbelief. Emma, dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans, was calm as ever. Her eyes sparkled not with fear, but determination. Jake knelt beside her and gently helped her slip her legs into the fitted braces. He explained how the sensors would detect her upper body motion and convert it into forward momentum. "You don't have to walk today," he said quietly. "Just try." Emma looked at him and nodded. "I'm ready." Jake stepped back, his heart pounding. He watched her grip the handles on her chair and slowly rise with the help of the exosuit. It was shaky at first. Her balance wavered and Vanessa gasped, moving as if to catch her. But Jake held out a hand to stop her. "Let her do it," he whispered. With each step, Emma grew steadier. The suit responded beautifully, adjusting to her movement, gently guiding her legs forward. Jake had programmed it to compensate for her weakest muscles, allowing her more control with less effort. She walked slowly, then a little faster across the garage floor. Her sneakers touched the concrete with a rhythm that filled the space like music. Vanessa's breath caught in her throat as Emma reached the far wall and turned back. She was smiling now, a real, radiant smile. When she made it back to her mother, she stopped and opened her arms. "Mom," she whispered, "I did it." Vanessa dropped to her knees and hugged her, tears streaming down her face. She looked over at Jake, who had stepped back into the shadows of his garage, wiping his hands with a rag, pretending not to cry. But his eyes were misty. Vanessa stood and walked over to him. "You didn't just fix her wheelchair," she said. "You gave her back her life." Jake shook his head humbly. "She gave herself that. I just handed her the tools." That afternoon, as they were preparing to leave, a sleek black car arrived, this time with a different driver and a sharply dressed man in a suit. He handed Jake a business card and said only one sentence. "We'd like to talk." Jake was confused. Vanessa laughed softly. "You're going to want to hear them out. That's from the Heart Medical Innovation Board. They've seen what you did." Jake stared at the card, stunned. As the SUV pulled away with Emma waving through the window, he stood in silence, overwhelmed. For years he had buried himself in quiet grief, fixing things to avoid the world. But now he had fixed something that mattered more than any machine. And maybe, just maybe, it had fixed a part of him too. Asterisk.